I'm so done with this intro. So anyways, before I get to the video, I didn't upload anything last week because something happened really bad.
Oh no!
Basically what happened was, I woke up one morning, doing my routine and everything, and then when I went out and checked my plants, I checked out my pink princess philodendron, and then suddenly I found out that my pink princess philodendron was damaged. There was I saw a leaf of philodendron of my philodendron pink princess, like it broke off. So, philodendron pink princess is very expensive. But not really very expensive, but it is one of the costly plants here in my place, and you don't really find them everywhere. So I asked my dad what happened, and he told me that there was a branch fell off and landed on my pink princess, also on my amydrium medium, and also on my caladium. Unfortunately, it broke 3 of the leaves of the pink princess, and of course, you know me, I was sulking the entire day. I didn't have any mood to film anything. I was supposed to film something for that week, but then I lost all my mood. So I was sulking. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't want to do anything. So yeah, I have my pink princess here. I was supposed to do a video about my pink princess, like pink princess care and everything, because I haven't done any video about pink princess philodendron yet, and I know many of the plant collectors here in Cebu, or just let's say here in the Philippines, wants a pink princess philodendron. And if you can see my pink princess right now, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves. That one is a half moon leaf almost, and unfortunately I have to wait. I really have to wait for a few months now, for a few months again, to have my pink princess look good again, and then I'll do a video about pink princess care, because I don't want to show my pink princess looking like this, looking worn out and torn. So yeah, I really apologize for not uploading. So let's go to the video. So today's video would be basically about myths of indoor plants, because I've been seeing a lot in social media about indoor plants being able to do this and do that, and then do this to your plants if your plant is doing that. So yes, we're going to talk about at least 10 myths about indoor plants. Let's go. So for the first indoor plant misconception, we're going to talk about bathrooms are humid. So that's the number one. For me, bathrooms are pretty humid. It really depends on what type of bathroom you have. If you have like a bathroom that's well ventilated, then your bathroom wouldn't be as humid as you want it to be. You want your bathroom to be, let's say, almost always wet. Like for example, if you take a hot shower, and then if you notice that mist, or like your mirror gets foggy and misty, then that's humidity. That's when you can say your bathroom is humid. And I've been seeing a lot of people put their humidity loving plants inside their bathroom, and it's good. Yeah, it's good. I do actually think that bathrooms are humid, but not all the time. There are some cases where bathrooms are also dark and dry, so this doesn't really necessarily what do you call this, apply to everything or apply to every bathroom. Especially in the Philippines, bathrooms are not made to be very bright and big. So most of the bathrooms here in the Philippines, if you're like an average class person, your bathroom would be just enough for you to take a bath, have some decent business there, and then yeah. So bathrooms are humid, probably, but not all the time. Next is I water my plants every day trick out. So watering your plants every day is also an issue to most of the plant community. Watering your plants every day would depend on what plant. It would depend on what type of plant you are taking care of and what are their watering, you know, watering requirements. Because there are some plants where they need more water than the other plants. There are also some plants where they need less water than the other plants. So it really depends. I do agree to this one that it's a misconception to indoor plants where you water every day, because it's not all the same. Plants are not all the same. There's some plants where they need less water and something like that. And if you water specific plants that does not require so much water, then you would end up rotting your, um, you know, roots. So, yeah, it also says here that overwatering is the number one killer of indoor plants. Yes, I do. I agree with this one 100%, because people usually think that you care for your plant. How you care for your plant is how much you water for them. So, like, let's say for example, if I want to take care of this plant and I water it more often, or let's say often, so it would like feel the care and love that I put into. No, overwatering is also killer for indoor plants. Take note, don't forget. Next, big pot equals big plant, right? This is also an issue. Basically, if you say a big pot equals big plant, there are some plants that requires them, or there are some plants that likes to be root bound. Let's say for example ZZ plant, Monstera deliciosa, other type of philodendrons as well. You don't have to put, or you don't have to repot your plants if you think that the pot is too small, because cases are when you repot your plants really often, the energy of the plant goes to the root system, so you wouldn't have any leaves to, you know, you wouldn't have any leaves to see, or the plants wouldn't produce more leaves than the usual, because it would put on its energy on the root system, making more roots to, you know, adapt the big pots. And big pots usually cause root rot because it contains more of the moisture than having your, you know, regular sized pot to your regular sized plant. So yes, it doesn't really apply to everything. Big pot equals big plant. No, it doesn't. I have mentioned a lot of times in my video where I repotted my plants and not seeing any growth at all, because most of the growth, most of the energy is below. Most of the energy of the plant goes below to the roots, as it copes up with the new pot and the new, you know, soil. It's really different. It's really different. Unless you plant it in your, like, the natural soil, it's really different. You would see the difference if you start taking care of plants. So start now. It's fun. So number 4, self-watering pots save time. Well, I do agree with this one. Self-watering pots. Self-watering pots save time. Yes, they do. Especially when you're away. Especially when you're not always in your home or in your apartment or in your office. If you want to have a successful plant, or if you want to have your plant well watered enough while you're away or while you're working, self-watering pots are one of the best pots that I can recommend, but they can be quite expensive. They can be expensive because they some of the materials, just plainly because of the system itself. You would want your plant to, let's say, it's like an automatic feeder for like fish. You know those like little feeders for fish. If you own fish, they have like a like a automatic feeder for fish. Like you time it and you do that. It's just the same thing. You water you put water on a container on that same pot, and then you would just leave your plant alone, and then just check on the ball, like there's like a reading for how much water is in the container left. So yeah, I do agree with this one. Self-watering pots save time, but they do not save money, for sure. They're quite expensive. I think I've seen let's say a 6-inch self-watering pot for 1,000 plus. Very mahal. Very mahal. Anyways, Next, number 5. Some plants are just for indoors. Well, I don't know if I have mentioned this one in my other videos or in my past videos where I told or I mentioned about indoor plants really requires enough sunlight. There's really n- not much information about, like, not exact information about indoor plants being able to, live forever indoors, because if you say indoor plant, they label it as indoor plant because they're naturally adapted to shade light, which is, in the jungle and everything. That's their natural habitat. And um, when you put your plants indoors, it looks like you're under the trees, but it's really different. Um, there's really no such thing as indoor plant, I think. Um, it's just a shade tolerant plant, if you would say. Um, if you know what it says here, what we call an indoor plant is just a plant with lower light requirements, which is very true compared to trees and everything else. Indoor plants or shade loving plants requires lesser light requirements than the usual plants we see outside, and it's true. Just like this one, I don't place this one inside my house just because my house doesn't have enough sunlight for them to thrive. And if I would put one plant inside my house, it would be like a week interval. So, just like for example, this fern right here, this fern can tolerate very low light, which means very low light, which means you can read a book when the lights are off. Low light doesn't mean zero light. You have to remember that low light doesn't equals to zero light. Remember, not all plants can tolerate very low light. And unless your room is very bright, then kudos. That's good for you. My room isn't dark. I have light there and I have also light here, so it's pretty much bright here right now, but it's pretty dark here. Next, number 6. Some plants are fine without any light. Talking about that, zero light. I've seen a post in Facebook where it's labeled as zero light plants. I would totally disagree with that because plants need sunlight as like their food source. They need that to grow and help them grow leaves, grow roots, bear fruits, bear flowers and everything. So zero light is such an understatement. It's a misconception to every plant owner where, like, if you're new to this hobby and you'd see like zero light plants and you would believe that you can just put a single plant inside your bedroom without any window, then you're doing it wrong. It's not really wrong, but you're doing it. You're gonna kill your plant eventually. I would advise you guys, if you have your plant inside your house, if you think that you can't read a book in that particular place where you place your plant, then I advise you to put your plant outside for like quite some time, but not in direct light, just very bright shade light, okay? Because no plant really can tolerate zero light. It's like feeding. It's like not feeding your plant. It's like not feeding your pets food for like forever, and your pet would probably die. Eventually die, not probably, but eventually die. That's how that's how house plant goes. You can't just give them zero light and expect them to live. Even ZZ plant, if I would show you, where's my ZZ plant? Even this ZZ plant, if you would see this very light green foliage, this is all new growth, and it has been growing outside my house for quite some time, almost 2 months now, almost over 2 months now, and within that 2 months, it has pushed out 4 new big leaves. And honestly speaking, this one receives at least 2 hours of direct sunlight, and now it's growing so fast. So see, this one is labeled as 0 light, but that doesn't mean that it can tolerate like 0 light. Okay, you have to give your plant some food. It has to feed some energy, and it has to have light sometimes, because plants are living things and they need food. You have to take care of your plants, understand them. It's like having a child. You have to understand your child, like the needs and wants, just like plants. I think I'm gonna be a good plant daddy.
Oh yeah!
Anyway, alright, 7. Alright, I have this kind of plants. Cacti and succulents are so easy to take care of. Well, I started my hobby with cacti and succulents. I don't know if I have mentioned that. I started my hobby with that. Started also selling in my online shop, but then now it's temporarily closed because I haven't had any supplier yet. Cacti and succulents aren't easy. There are also some succulents that requires specific amounts of direct sunlight. Some can tolerate 2 hours, some can tolerate full day of sun, some can tolerate like half day of sun. There are succulents that are labeled as soft succulents, where it can tolerate at least 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, but it cannot tolerate a full day of sun because it will burn. Just like the rosettes, I forgot, the echeverias, those kind of succulents are pretty sensitive to very harsh sunlight, so cacti and succulents aren't always that easy. Some are, if you're lucky enough, some are, but not all. Next, some plants don't need drainage, just put stones at the bottom and it's good. I've seen a lot of companies and retail shops that sells their plants with, you know, no drainage at all and just rocks at the bottom. It's a very common misconception of plants, especially on cacti. How would I say this? Plants really need a lot of drainage because you're gonna basically drown your plant with soil, with water, if you don't provide them with enough drainage, and it's a very big mistake for everyone. So always remember, if you want to have your plant in a jar without drainage, then I prefer you to just drill a hole to at least give it a drainage. Drainage are very important. It's like a breathing hole for plants. Yep. Oh, there's also an exception. It says here terrariums are essentially a glass pot with no drainage. The only reason this works is because because of the careful plant selection. True, terrariums doesn't have drainage at all. Most of the people that makes terrariums would put charcoal at the bottom because it does filters out, and it filters out odor and bad bacteria and everything. Yeah. Next, number 9. We have 2 left. Leaf damage can be replaced. Let's say, for example, I have a very good example for this one. Speaking of leaf damage, you cannot do anything with leaf damage. Once it's damaged, you can't do anything. So your plants cannot recover from any leaf burn. Just let's say, for example, my aglaonema, if you would see that spot right here, this spot right here is basically burned because I forgot to transfer it, and it was under the heat of the sun for too long, and now it's burned. And no, they cannot be replaced. They cannot recover from any leaf damage because it's not like us humans where we get a wound and it heals. Also, for example, my Monstera propagation. You know what really pains me? Insects. They have been munching on my Monstera deliciosa, or I don't know if this is a Monstera borsigiana. They have been munching on my Monstera borsigiana for quite some time, and it's not good. It's not good for the plant. I still have to see who's the culprit. So I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill the culprit. So yeah, that's the issue. It can't be repaired. Last but not least, you should move plants around to get some light. Well, I would have a 50-50 agreement on this one, because I move some plants, but not always. I move plants when the season change, because light patterns or sunlight patterns changes over the season. You can't expect this part of the house would be the same, like this part of the house would have the same sunlight exposure for the entire year. I don't necessarily put my plants from shade to very bright light immediately, because it has to acclimate, so I have to wait for, I have to do some stages. Don't move your shade-loving plants to direct sunlight, because you would kill your plant. You would kill your plant eventually. It would end up the life of your plant, and you wouldn't want that to your expensive plant, especially when you spend so much on that plant. Don't. So that's the end of the myths. I hope that I helped you understand. For those of you who wanted to own some plants and who wanted to, take care of plants and who's new to this hobby, I hope I helped you understand more about this one. Those are just the myths. Those are 10 myths, and not everything. That's not like everything that I know of. It's just 10. There are some myths that I know that are not here as well, but I'm just gonna give you 10 for now. I hope you really enjoy this video, and if you're new to this channel, it's Peter Planter, and I'm doing plant vlogs. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!